This is some of the top crypto airdrop news and alpha over the past few days. There's a lot of big stuff that's been happening, so let's jump right in. Starting off with ZORA. So today, the ZORA team announced that they are finally actually launching their own token. There's going to be an airdrop of 10% of the total supply. So actually not a huge amount, 10% retroactive airdrop there, and some future incentives as well. But a few caveats here that I found to be quite interesting. Let me move this over actually. For starters, there's one snapshot that actually took place today, and they've announced a second snapshot 3 days before when the token is actually going to drop. The problem is we don't know exactly when that's going to be, and so clearly this is the ZORA team trying to basically get a bunch of additional engagement and farming in before the second snapshot and the airdrop launches. Another thing that I found strange and kind of underwhelming about this announcement is that basically they are launching what they're calling a meme coin. They're not actually launching a token that has any utility whatsoever. They're not even pretending to have utility. It's just a pure meme coin play. So as you can see, it's launching on Base, also a bit weird. It's not launching on the ZORA network with a supply of 10 billion tokens. And they say it is for fun only and does not entitle holders to any governance rights or claim on any equity ownership in ZORA. So basically, you're not going to get to vote on anything. You're not going to get any fee revenue from this. There's really no benefit from it aside from the fact that it's just a meme coin branded with the ZORA brand. So yeah, overall, as far as airdrops go, I think this one is going to be relatively underwhelming. Obviously, I will be happy to claim and get something back from ZORA mints because they have been farming users for a long time, but don't hold out hopes that this is going to be a huge airdrop just based purely on the actual tokenomics, how much they're airdropping, and what they're actually trying to do with it. Now, that said, of course, I will actually be minting a few things on ZORA in the next couple of months, just to make sure that I at least tick that box. I don't know if there's going to be some sort of multiplier for having actually participated in between the two snapshots, kind of like what Layer 0 did. So yeah, I'm going to do sort of like a bare minimum of interactions on ZORA between now and the second snapshot, just to make sure that I do tick that box and at least maximize whatever I can get out of this, even though I already know it's not going to be a huge airdrop. Okay, next up, I wanted to talk about this. So on the timeline today, I was seeing a lot of people talking about MetaMask and the Mask airdrop. However, this is not actually happening. Basically, this is LogX just trying to get some clout and to get some attention. And they launched the Mask token on pre-markets, but if you trade this, it is pure speculation. There is no Mask token that's been announced. There is no tokenomics. We have no idea whether or not they're even going to do this. In fact, MetaMask came out afterwards and said there is no token and anything else that you see online is basically misinformation. So yeah, all of this from LogX seems to be just a grab for attention, and there is no actual basis in reality for this. And if you decide to trade this in pre-market, you are basically straight up gambling. All right, let's quickly talk about MON, because I know in my previous video, I said I might actually make a tutorial on how to farm their testnet now that they recently launched. However, on X, I was noticing that a bunch of the team members from MON specifically are saying farming will not be rewarded. We've got a lot of cases, these guys are retweeting airdrop threaders and basically saying there's no point in doing this kind of thing. And so that made me rethink making the farming strategy, because they seem to be saying straight up that you are not going to be rewarded for spending hundreds of hours clicking buttons to farm this. Basically, they're just suggesting interact with it normally if you want to try stuff out. And so that's why I decided not to make a full farming tutorial for MON, because it seems like that could actually just be a massive waste of time. However, if you do want to check it out, the testnet is now live, and there's a lot of interesting dApps. For example, you can play Fantasy Top for free. Another thing that I wanted to clarify was this piece of news from Mitosis. So they launched this new campaign in collaboration with Theo Network, and a lot of people were confused as to what this is. So basically the TLDR is when you deposit ETH into Mitosis, you receive a deposit receipt in the form of another token called, let's say, MUETH, M-I-W-E ETH. And these guys are now saying that you can take that token and deposit it in yet another protocol to just stack on additional yield Legos. But there was some confusion about this, and so the Mitosis team in their Discord have clarified that you don't need to deposit additional assets, and in fact, you don't need to do this at all if you want to just continue with Mitosis the way that you've been going. And also, there's a small update for the TGE. They're saying that they're waiting for the results of the audit, and then after that, we can have the TGE. So I don't know, not necessarily the answer we've been looking for, especially since this farm has been going on for a very long time, but just a quick piece of clarification, especially if you saw that news about new deposits being opened. Okay, next up, the Mint airdrop is going live on March 7th. You can check your allocation right now, and the claims will be going live in 4 days. Next, I've spoke about Sonic in a few of my previous videos. It's one of the better airdrop targets now. We've seen a lot of airdrop farming and yield farming sort of wind down over the last few months. However, there's still a few ones that are going strong and even ramping up, and that includes, in my opinion, Eclipse and also Sonic. And now you can actually bridge to Sonic via Jumper, which is my favorite bridge and DEX aggregator. So this is a useful multi-airdrop qualifier if you want to check this out. And if you haven't started experimented with Sonic and their DeFi ecosystem, I highly recommend you check it out. Another piece of news, the Nillion mainnet is launching this month. So I'm assuming that means that they're also going to have the token Genesis event when they launch on mainnet. And hopefully all the people that qualified for some of this allocation by following along with some of my previous videos will be able to claim and get something solid out of this. I feel like this could be a dark horse. It might actually end up doing quite well. Okay, next, if you are still trading on perp dexes and you're looking for something to farm, Drift has basically announced they have a whole new series of quests and ways that you can earn points for additional token allocations. So right now you earn points or fuel, and that will be converted into the Drift token when this campaign actually ends. There's a variety of different ways that you can earn fuel depending on what you're actually depositing and what you're trading. So trade, more volume, the more that you earn. And also, yes, if you make deposits, you can also earn passive fuel for that. When it comes to perp dexes on Solana, this is probably the better farm right now. However, if we're just comparing perp dexes in general, I do still spend more time trading on Hyperliquid, hoping for a second round of their airdrop over this. I think in terms of what's the best perp dex, hands down, it's got to be Hyperliquid. However, when it comes to perp dexes on Solana, this is the one right now that I think has the best incentives for trading. So if you are actually looking for that, check this out. Although, of course, trading on perps is highly, highly risky, so do your own research and make sure you understand what you're doing. Next up, I'm just scrolling through the Discord here and checking out some of the alpha from the past week. One thing to note, if you farmed Babylon and you received the Pioneer Pass NFT, you definitely need to make sure that you link that NFT and actually confirm registration for the airdrop before March 15th. Otherwise, you will not be able to actually claim your allocation. So definitely make sure you go and do that, especially if you actually made a deposit into Babylon. Next up, if you farmed Sonium and you were trying to get the OG badge, the snapshot for that has occurred. A total of over 400,000 wallets were eligible, which is a lot, but those badges will be dropped this week in the form of a soulbound badge on the Sonium network. And in addition to that, they've also got this bonus premium OG badge for people that met these few criteria, like if you bridged 1 ETH via the native bridge, for example. Let's talk about these Foxy NFTs. They minted just last week, and you can check to see the rarity of the NFTs if you managed to pick one up. All you have to do is go to the Foxy Discord and then check for your NFT ID. And then we also actually have now the allocations of Foxy airdrops to NFT holders. So let me just pull this up right here. So yeah, this is based on rarity, and you get a certain amount of Foxy per NFT depending on the rarity level, and that vests over the course of a few months, and you get a little bit each month. However, there's also been a lot of speculation that this NFT won't be just limited to this airdrop, but that it could also be relevant for Linea, among other things. So I've got 2 of these. A bunch of people in my Discord picked up a bunch of these as well, and we will see what happens. Okay, just a couple more quick things. For starters, if you are still staking MOD tokens, make sure that you allocate or reallocate your votes before March 5th to participate in Epoch 4. And then finally, do you remember the Lens protocol? I made a whole video about it a while back and I've spoken about it previously. It's a Web3 social network, and they're actually now launching their own chain. Previously, they were on Polygon, but they're launching their own Lens chain, and it is now in testnet. So right now, if you want to experiment with it, you can do so, and you can get some faucet tokens, and then you can mint your reputation score. So I think that they are likely to have a token at some point. It looks like it's going to be called Grass and not Lens, even though we already have multiple other Grass tokens. But yeah, anyways, if you're interested in a new opportunity to farm something on testnet, check this out. And finally, if you want to get these pieces of alpha and this news, especially the time-sensitive stuff, right away as soon as it drops, you can always join the Discord. The basic membership is only $5 a month, and you can sign up on Patreon. So hopefully you found this helpful, and thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.